This episode is a W2Mnet.com presentation. Visit W2Mnet.com for all other podcasts, as well as articles and reviews for everything from wrestling, sports, video games, and entertainment. What's up, everybody, and once again, we are live. This is MMA to the Max, episode number 38. I am your host, as always, the exhilarating, scintillating, always superbly, sextastically awesome Robert Taylor. And I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Joe Hudson, a.k.a. Riverside Joe.
What the fuck kind of introduction was that? Seriously.
I'm feeling good about myself. It's a good night. I'm feeling good.
Why? You haven't seen a mirror in a couple days since you're on vacation? You forgot what you look like? God, I can still hear what you sound like, and it is not up to par, buddy.
Anyways, we are joined by a special guest tonight. The one, the only, from the Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. Basically the godfather of the underground podcast scene, as some of us have referred to it. And by some of us, I mean me. Mr. Blake Stephenson, a.k.a. Money Blakeweather. How you doing, Blake? And thank you for showing up.
Dude, thank you for having me. I don't need to brag about myself. I'll let the ladies do that for me. But it's so great to be on the show. Everybody out there, again, I have the best hair in the podcast game. So everybody out there who's a fan, y'all very welcome. And Robert, thank you so much, man. A lot of people don't know this. I've been gone from the podcast scene for quite a while. And I'm going to give you lots of daps and praise for just messaging me on the low, keeping me positive and supporting me. And finally having me back, man, as I'm kind of making my comeback tour, man. So all the praise to you. Thank you so much, man.
No, the honor's mine, man. Like I said,
glad to have you.
If it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be no video for MMA to the Max. I mean, that's just the truth right there, man. You're the one that helped me out with this OBS stuff and getting this going. So I mean,
thank Blake or curse him, depending on what you what you see or not.
I was gonna say maybe that's not praise.
I love it.
I don't know, man. My hard hat hair today is rivaling yours just a little bit. I don't know. I'm trying here.
Mine's got natural volume. I don't need to put nothing in if I don't need to. But I just got back. This is me from the gym too. That's what I'm saying. It's just it looks so as the ladies don't want to reply to it. So but yeah, man, I'm excited to talk some MMA or whatever the hell we get into, man.
Well, as am I. But what we're going to get into is the very first thing we pretty much try to open every show with. Hey, you know what? You get to be a part of it now. It's a new week. It's a new drink. Joe, Blake, what are you drinking this week?
It's called Champion Brewing. It's called Hog Waller Scramble Breakfast Stout brewed with coffee and chocolate. And it looks a little something like that.
A little something like delicious.
And it kind of tastes kind of very amazing. I'm glad I made this decision times two. Like I bought two, like I looked at the can and I was like, my God, that speaks to my soul. And Total Wine always speaks my language when it comes to beers, as you found out.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure as you found out. So yeah, man, I bought two of these bad boys, but I'm gonna drink one tonight and I'm gonna save one probably for the weekend when I want to get saucy with myself.
Saucy with yourself? All right, my man.
Absolutely saucy with myself. I deserve to treat myself. That's all I'm saying.
Go for it, my man. For me, it's not a new beer. It's my staple, the Stone Brewery Ruination 2.0. It's just damn good. And if you like a good hoppy IPA, but like Arrogant Bastards a little too forward for you, then Stone Ruination 2.0 is the way to go. And I am an IPA guy. I know I've been talking about adventuring into some more different things, some stouts, some porters, some what have you, and I'll get off my lazy ass and make my run to Total Wine, but it's so out of the way. All I have is a Bevmo that's like on my way anywhere, and those Bevmos are disappointing.
Yeah, they're a poor man's Total Wine. They really are. That's the sad thing. So.
They are. And that's why they're by me, I guess, right?
Well, you are Riverside Joe for a reason.
Damn
I
right.
wasn't even going to say I was going to say that, but I wasn't going to say that.
It's a Riverside thing. Ooh. Helicopter, plane, airplane. What the fuck am I thinking right now?
Flying by.
Yeah, I barely drink. Anyways,
they're stalking me.
My beer this week, I've been saving it for a special occasion. Unfortunately, I don't know when that special occasion's coming, so we'll just do it with Blake on the episode.
You're on vacation, buddy.
Yeah, I'm on vacation. Oh, I flipped my camera, so now I'm all backwards. I flipped it so people could read the poster in the back. Anderson Valley Bourbon Barrel Stout. It is a malt beverage stout, obviously, aged in wild turkey bourbon barrels, and I gotta be honest, I'm not sure about it yet. It's kind of bitter, like very bitter in a sense, like flat bitter, if that's any way to.
Not too bourbony, but bitter.
That sounds so disappointing.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's me and Joe got like some good beers, and Robert's like, meh.
It almost has like a sour ale flavor to it, like a sour ale taste. I don't think that's.
Did you forget to wash your glass out after last time you had?
I don't put my sour ales in my stout glass. Okay.
Oh, good man. Thou shalt not mix glasses with the wrong beverage eye.
Jesus Christ! MMA Max commandment number 5.
I think it is, dude.
I don't know.
Right next to, if thou drinks Bud Light or Coors Light, thou shalt be castrated.
And never come on the show.
Yeah, that's like number 1, I think.
You should be here for the episodes of Grammar to the Max we get into sometimes.
Yeah, those are fun. Oh, man.
Well, shit. Let's just get right down into things right now. Let's just jump right into the deep end of the pool. Let's talk about if there was going to be a subtitle for this episode, it would have to be Motown Phenomenal, because that's basically what Kevin Lee is.
My man, Kevin. Yeah, and you know what I was thinking about, and I'm sure we'll dive into it. Here's the thing about Kevin Lee that's so amazing. Everybody want to talk about like Edson Barboza, make him do the stanky leg, but here's the thing about Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza can still get taken down when somebody's doing the stanky leg and Dougie at the same time. Like, that's how bad his takedown defense is. Like, I don't think anybody's talked about. Like, if you're halfway unconscious and you can still take down somebody, like, my dude, somebody needs to tell this man. Like, somebody needs to help this man. Like, seriously, like, work on his takedown defense.
Yeah.
Like, that should never happen, right? Like, never,
well,
never.
Barboza actually doesn't have shitty takedown defense if he can get an underhook. Like that's where he's real good at. He's got good strong. He can get up and get an underhook. But yeah, if somebody's sprinting down Queer Street like Lee was, you shouldn't.
Or like Joe on Saturday nights.
Well, like what ended up happening was he stuffed it and tried to go for a Darce, and then Kevin Lee used chain wrestling in his half-conscious state and still took him down. Like,
that's how good of a wrestler.
Oh my god,
that was the longest stanky leg I think I've seen in MMA. Man, he just
would not
go down.
And I felt so bad because if you rewatch the replay, like, he kind of like stepped and like rolled his ankle, but like it was like so loose, like it might not have hurt him. It's kind of like when you're drunk and like you roll your ankle but you don't. But like if you were not drunk, you roll your ankle and it would really hurt because like your whole body's like tight.
Yeah.
So that might have been as a benefit to him. But damn, like that was not to go too far for, but damn, that was some shit. Somebody needs to help Edson.
Yeah, well, I think the UFC owes Edson a lot of like goodwill and favors after these last 2 fights. They Jesus, man.
They're kind of thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, Habib and Lee back to back. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like, that's Jesus, man. Edson Barboza, that poor guy, he needs to take about 6 to 7 months off, reevaluate his career.
Well, go to Disneyland.
Yeah, Disneyland. Strikers, you know what I mean? Give him a couple strikers that he can play with, that he doesn't get taken down and beat up. Because yeah, he's fought nothing but beasts.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, give him something to get his confidence back up.
Who do you think that would be?
At 155?
I mean, him and Iaquinta be good. I mean,
I like it.
Yeah, Al doesn't have like the takedowns of a Lee or a Khabib that's going to trouble him too much. So yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm also down for a Barboza versus Gaethje. So.
Ooh, that would be sexy.
That'd be a fun fight.
Interesting. That would be really interesting. But I don't know what Gaethje, he needs someone needs some time off. That guy needs some time off. Man.
He needs like 8 years off. Like that guy has been through war.
Barboza needs time off too. So I mean, I think the timeline might match up here. So
and like the interesting thing about it is both of those guys are the type of fighters that will push him back. So that makes it an interesting dynamic. So then Edson has to find a way to reverse the pushback and sort of counter that, like similar like he did with like Beneil Dariush, like kind of counter the forward movement and find like what works. Like that's what's going to be his key to winning either one of those fights, because both those guys don't give no fucks. Like they'll just go forward and like, they'll fuck you up if they can. So that's that. I'm already thinking about it in my head. I'm like already breaking it down. Like, God damn boy, like that fight would be nice. But either one would be nice. I'm not mad at either one.
Yeah, I don't want to see Gaethje for a while. I think Iaquinta would be a good one. He's got the right ranking. Edson Barboza's ranked high enough to where it should be a gimme, but no one's a gimme, especially not Iaquinta.
No.
So I think they'll throw hands. You get the flashy, fancy kind of spinning kicks and whatnot from Edson Barboza. Mm-hmm. That'd be good. I like that one.
Yeah, and then you get Gaethje taking him and just doing nothing with his wrestling, just keep getting hit and hit and hit and hit.
Yeah, not taking him down. Yeah, exactly. Give him an NCAA wrestler that doesn't take you down.
That never takes you down?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Either way, though, I'd love to see all that. And Kevin Lee, man, I want the best for that kid, man.
He's good.
That kid is something special, man. Like, I thought he would do really well in this fight, because like he was doing really well in Tony Ferguson fight. Like, the only reason Tony Ferguson wins because of his great slick submission skills and patience, and like you only learn that by fighting everyone in the lightweight division, right? So like, I don't know, man. Like, I think people like kind of knocked Kevin Lee for losing that fight, and and he obviously has a little bit to work on when it comes to his weight management, but. Man, the kid's really good. I'm really high on Kevin Lee, man. I just want the best for him. I don't know what that is next. Maybe him Poirier? I don't know.
Yeah. I personally think that I think staff had a lot to do with Kevin Lee losing that Ferguson fight. I mean, he had him mounted. I mean, that's not to take anything away from Ferguson's ground game and his slick off the back skills with his jiu-jitsu, but I want to see that one ran back. I really do, with a healthy Lee. I mean, everybody saw the weight cut issues, and obviously saw the giant staff on his back, or no, it was on his chest.
His chest.
Yeah, on his chest.
Right on
left
his chest.
pectoral.
Yeah, right there on the chest. It's like, yeah, I think that fight definitely needs to be ran back. I personally think Lee beats Ferguson in the rematch if he's healthy.
I don't.
I do. I absolutely do.
I don't, but I think that Lee is great. I think Lee can beat someone else, though. I think he can beat Khabib.
I do too.
That's too much for me to say. I don't think anybody beats Khabib.
His stand-up is,
It's just
I think, leaps and
do
bounds
damage.
above what Khabib does. The only thing that I'm teetering on is I have to go back and watch some more film. I don't know how good Kevin Lee's defensive wrestling is, how that's going to hold up. But if he's half as good of a defensive wrestler as he is an offensive wrestler, then I think he takes the fight, because he has a higher takedown percentage himself than Khabib does. Khabib gets stuffed a little more often than you think. He's just above like 56, 57%, somewhere around there in his takedowns. I think Lee is upwards of 70, somewhere like that on his takedowns. So I'm just trying to look at these things. I think Kevin Lee beats him on the feet.
And the reason that Khabib like does so well with takedowns, like people want to forget, it's not because he's got the first takedown or the second takedown or even the third takedown. It's all the chain wrestling. He goes back and it's like an ABCD, and he goes down A, B, C, and then he'll go back up to C and D. And if C and D doesn't work, like and that's what makes him so dangerous. So it's not if Kevin Lee can stuff it, it's how long can he stuff it, and like can he fend it off just long enough to get away from the cage, and then try to take Khabib down like that. I agree, man. Like it's super interesting to think about. I don't know if we're there yet, but it's super interesting to think about if and when it plays out.
Yeah, I think it would be a great fight. I think it would be, like you say, a wrestling match that will be determined based on the stand-up. I think the wrestling will be somewhat of a stalemate. I don't know how good Kevin Lee is off his back. Most wrestlers aren't. I can imagine Khabib isn't very good off of his back either. So
he won't ever be there. Down, I'm sorry. I'm still on the Khabib train. I still think it's Khabib time. I really do. Here's the thing. You can say on paper or just looking at every fight and say this person has this over Khabib, this person has this over Khabib, this person can match Khabib. But like every single one of his opponents said after the fight, like not until you get in there with him do you realize just how good this guy is. Like you're seeing what I honestly believe you're seeing what he allows you to see. He doesn't need phenomenal striking. He can light you up when he wants to. You can see that he was tagging Edson Barboza. I mean, he really.
Well, and I'm gonna play jab, and I think he's got a great jab because he throws it from down low. You don't see it coming. It's fast. It's hard. He's got a good jab.
Play devil's advocate for Khabib. Like, I knew who would win the fight. I was going for Quinta, but like I knew Khabib would win the fight for sure. Like it was never a question. I never wanted to like psych myself out. But imagine like that was him fighting somebody and somebody fighting him on 1 day's notice, right?
Yep.
Like no preparation, all instinct, and like that might have been part of the reason why he looked so shitty. Like, and not to say he didn't win. Like I thought he won like 4 rounds. I thought he lost 1 for sure. But like, it's not to say like why he didn't look as well as we would have expected him to.
Yeah.
I think that's a large part to do with the reason, and I don't know like who's really talking about that. Like, right? Like 1 day preparation for any fighter. Like,
and
that's asking a lot.
And he still, if that's what I tried to say to people before, like if that's shitty Khabib, that's shitty Khabib won 50-43.
Yeah, right. Shitty Khabib is still ridiculously good.
I think, I think everybody should be happy that Quinta didn't fight a well-prepared, super healthy Khabib because he might be dead. I mean, I know that's hyperbole, but
completely different. It could have been completely. It could have been the same. It could have been the same, but it could have been completely different.
That's fair.
Khabib's not finishing tons of people. He chooses to grind them out. He says so.
And I believe it when he says he chooses to do it.
I do.
He had so many openings to just smash on Al in the second round or choke him out, and he just refused to do it. He didn't He didn't want to hurt him for taking the fight. That's something
I noticed with Lee too. Lee had opportunities when he was in mount and Barboza was shrimping and rolling to transition to back control, but instead he chose to just stay on top of the ground and pound.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was intentional or maybe he knows something. I'd go back and look at film. Does Barboza have great rear naked choke defense, so he didn't want to burn himself out? I don't think he does. I don't remember.
Barboza doesn't have really
ever
great
showing
any
it.
defense.
Any kind of defense when it comes to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Well, he did a good job of getting back into half guard often, working to guard.
Oh yeah, that's basic week 1 stuff.
Yeah, he did a good job with that. He didn't get he got completely shut out. He got shut out.
Yeah, this is. I just drank some of this water. I'm not feeling this beer. I might have to get up and change my selection.
Is this another clown shoes all over again?
No. I at least drank half of this thing. The clown shoes I dumped after the first drop.
Yeah,
but clown shoes is the worst thing I've ever. Oh my! I actually saw that at Total Wine. I walked by it, and Vanessa was like, "Oh look, didn't you have that?" I was like, "Yeah." Fuck that! I knocked the bottle over.
Never
gonna
have it again.
Yeah.
Which clown shoes was this?
The party one, the all night party or whatever the hell it was.
I don't know. That doesn't sound good. I bought one this weekend. Clown shoes. It was their Mexican breakfast out.
Oh no, I had the undead party or some shit, whatever that was.
That didn't even sound remotely good.
The
one I had was amazing.
Well, I don't see. I talk about trying these new beers, and you guys talk about all those clown shoes and the whatever stout oatmeal barrel aged wild turkey urine fucking brewed in someone's bathtub of some gin house back in Tennessee. And I'm like, what? I'm going to stick with what I know is good. Stone Ruination 2.0.
Stone Ruination
for the hot seat.
And this is why I call you the insanely average Riverside Joe.
We're not talking about my nude skills
You're
here,
basic.
all right?
You are a basic bitch when it comes to beer.
Oh, you're calling me a basic bitch when it comes to beer. You know what? I don't give a shit. You're clown shoes. You're all fucking clown shoes.
Sipping that haterade. All right, Riverside Joe. We hear you.
Damn hater.
We hear you, bro.
No, I definitely got some IPAs. I got some Hatch Chili IPA just cooling off in the fridge right now.
Oh, that sounds spicy.
From Garage Brewing.
I had an IPA last week. It was it's called Aloha Sculpin from Ballast Point. And so it's basically like, I don't know if you've had the grapefruit Sculpin Okay, it's like that, except better. And I'm not even an IPA fan. It's got like notes of like pineapple and like Hawaiian fruit. I don't even know what the fuck Hawaiian fruit is, but it's got like tropic fruit and shit. Well, it's got pineapple.
Mangoes.
It's got
Papayas.
all that shit, all that motherfucking shit, all that tropical shit. Like it tastes
Coconut.
like tropic fruit with like the IPA-ness of like grapefruit skull. It's fucking amazing. So if you get a chance to go get it, for sure go do it.
Watermelon,
and then you'll wait.
cantaloupe, apples, orange. See, I can name fruits off too, Joe. Let the man talk.
Sorry.
That haterade don't let him do nothing.
That's
Come on,
right.
Riverside Joe. I'm a guest.
No.
Well, let's jump in real quick. Let's get to the co-main event.
I love it, man.
This co-main event had a lot of controversies around it just because of the quick turnaround of Frankie Edgar. But as usual, aside from the Ortega fight, Frankie shut everybody up again and did what most of us expect him to do, which is dominate Cub Swanson again. Just without the finish, since it's always only three rounds. But what'd you think about Frankie's performance after just 6 weeks since his first knockout loss in his career?
Well, who are you asking, me or Riverside Joe?
I'll ask whoever.
Let's go to the guest. Guest first, since I was being such a rude ass naming fruit.
It was funny, man. I had like sort of a small vested interest in this fight because I saw the first fight live when it was here in Austin, and it's funny again. The co-main event, and he was the main event this time, was Edson Barboza and Bobby Green. So I remember watching that fight, man, and like it brought back memories watching this fight because like I said it like he just kind of Cub could do like, and it was funny, man. Like I'm gonna for the boxing fans and people who are not, if you're not a boxing fan, don't pay attention to this part. Like just for sure drink your beer real quick and shut up. Or if you're a boxing fan, you'll appreciate this. There was a fight this weekend. It was Gervonta Davis and Jose Cuellar, and it started off. It went 2 rounds because Gervonta Davis knocked him out because he's amazing. But it started off the first minute with Jose Cuellar backing up Gervonta Davis, and or Jesus Cuellar, sorry, and it started off with him backing him up, and that's exactly what happened. Like in like the first 2 rounds, like Cub was backing up Frankie until Frankie figured out like, okay, this is what I need to do to when I back up to circle around and get the better of coming forward and angling forward, and this is when Cub's not going to attack. Like just figuring out little things to where it reverses the momentum of what the other person thinks that they're doing, and when you do that, like it shatters the person's confidence, and then they kind of stop throwing and they don't know what the fuck to do, which is exactly what Cub what kind of happened to Cub. Like he would have moments where it was just kind of stale, and you're like, are you ever going to throw anything? You're just going to kind of circle and kind of feint. He couldn't figure out what the fuck to do, and so like I don't know. I honestly just feel like sometimes fighters have other fighters' numbers, and they can see and they can get in the fighter's head without them having to talk shit, without them having to do anything, just by displaying their skills inside of the ring and shutting down whatever somebody else thinks that they're prepared to do. And like that's Frankie for Cub, no matter like if it's night or day. Like I actually chose Cub just kind of based on like Frankie kind of scared me in that last fight. Like when somebody scares you, it's not that I didn't think Frankie didn't have skills, but just like when somebody scares you like that, like and you're like, damn, like they can get kind of like just tap twice like that early. It's kind of scary, right? Like it kind of gives you like, damn, do they still need to be doing this? Obviously, Frankie still has business to still be doing this, but and he shut me up. But like, it was amazing to kind of see that display of his skill. It's just so super reminiscent of the first fight, man.
What I noticed that was different was Cub's lack of throwing first, or lack of trying to get off first. Because what he noticed last time was he'd go for the power punch, he'd go for the shot, and he'd get timed just about every single time. He would get timed and taken down, and he could do nothing to get back up. So it looked to me like he was trying to find a place to counter, and he was using feints and whatnot to try to get Frankie to come in so he could counter off that, instead of committing and going forward with his aggressive combos and getting taken down again. It seems like he was trying to play the matador and make Frankie the bull. But like you were stating out perfectly, Frankie, he'll be the matador if he wants to, and you're not going to change that. And I saw that Cub was apprehensive to fire too much, too heavy, or counter, and it was a fun fight. But it just like you say, I think Cub and Frankie just don't make good music.
I think Cub and all the top contenders right now don't make good music. Personally, I think Cub's done as a top contender. He's never going to get that title shot. And to be honest, there's not a lot of 45ers, especially in the top 10, I would pick him against. It's just he's come to that point in his career, in my opinion. It's sad, one of my favorites, but I think he's gatekeeper status for sure. That's pretty much it. He's not getting any farther.
Yeah. Maybe not. I mean, a gatekeeper status sounds about right. You can look at
I'd say a gatekeeper for like top 5, like top 7 or top 10.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think that's kind of fair enough. Like not like gatekeeper to come into UFC, but like if you want to be a top guy, this is the guy you got to beat, and that's why he beats all those other schmucks like Artem Lobov and like
everybody beats Artem.
That one kid.
I got a 50-50 chance of beating Artem Lobov, dude. Come on.
But who's the other guy who beat, like, didn't he beat Renato Moicano or some shit like that? I'm trying to think. There was somebody else he beat.
Ortega's the only person that beat Moicano, and I was actually going to bring it up that I think Moicano and should, take out Cub next and break into that top of the division.
He can super do that. I was just trying to think of, like, all the little fuckers that he beat along the way, little Japanese people and shit, and that little Asian super boy who's not a fighter.
Duho Choi, yeah. That's
yeah. So and then we kind of figured out who that kid is.
Well, if you look at the top,
I still think that kid's got some talent. So I think he'll be there.
When he come back, yeah, maybe. But we need to see that.
He's about to get shipped off to military. So
2 year military service. So the 15 through 10 in featherweight: Miles Jury, Duho Choi, Zabit Magomedsharipov, Merced Beptic, Yair Rodriguez, and Darren Elkins. That's 15 through 10. I think every single one of those give Cub trouble.
Yeah, I wouldn't even pick Cub against any of those guys, to be honest.
Duho Choi, obviously, we saw how that one went. That was a great fight. Yeah. Miles Jury, he's been a little off lately, but yeah, I mean, obviously Zabit, Merced Beptic, Yair Rodriguez, Darren Elkins, right? That's just the top 15, so... I love
Matt.
Matt.
If you want Cub to die, give him those guys.
But that's just it. Like
featherweight's so stacked.
He needs to fight outside the top 15. He's got to get a couple more wins under his belt and then go after whoever's number 13 at that point. I think he's got to get a couple W's under him because
maybe you think he's regretting this and maybe he should have went off and signed with Bellator because then Pitbull could have killed him first. Pitbull
would be the only one who's really good. Oh, there's a couple of guys in Bellator 45 that could give him.
I was going to say I pick Strauss. I pick Pitbull. Well, Strauss.
Yeah, Strauss is good.
Oh my God.
I just can't. I'm sorry. I think he's done.
Didn't Pico go to 45 now too?
Yeah.
Or is Pico still 50? Yeah. So Pico,
I'd probably pick Pico over him too.
That kid's a beast.
Oh my God.
Wrestling
hate is real for Cub. Leave him alone.
It's not the hate. I just think he's done as a top guy. But Pico's a beast.
Pico is a beast.
I think that kid's going to be something, man.
You know. Oh, hell yeah.
But so what about Edgar? He says he wants the winner of Ortega and Holloway. Do you just not risk it and try to get either the Ortega rematch or the Holloway fight we all wanted? Do you just have Frankie win?
Fucking do it.
Yeah.
Fucking do it. Finally. Fucking do it.
He's earned it. He's earned it.
Give him the chance.
Shouldn't have taken that Ortega fight. He came back. He beat Cub. Okay, good. You got a W. You can fight for the belt off a W. You're Frankie motherfucking Edgar. Yeah.
Well, you did us a solid last time by fighting Brian Ortega, right? And then you came back and came on this card and you made it exciting. Like, fine. We'll fucking give you a title shot. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, there's somebody else anyway. So shut up, Frankie. Let's go give you a title shot.
If anybody on the main roster deserves the option, or the opportunity to try to become a dual division champion, it's Frankie.
He
Frankie
has defended belts.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got that.
He's got that on him.
Well,
shit.
Let's move on. I'm kind of going in the order of the fights, but I don't want to skip to this next fight because I know Blake was really happy about this result. David Branch knocking out Thiago Santos, which is something I didn't see coming.
I did. I called it. I said David Branch would beat this Thiago Santos. Like if it was in WSOF, this is the type of guys that David Branch would beat. Fucking easy. Like he would just hand him a fucking loss, and that's exactly what the fuck happened. Like, and I think everybody wants to forget like how good starting off. Like he looked against Luke Rockhold. Like, and it was kind of weird that Krzysztof Jotko fight, but remember like that was his first fight in UFC. Let's kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I think benefit of the doubt, and I think the caliber of fighters that sometimes gets lost in like the whole like big picture. David Branch is a great fighter. Like, can he be a title contender? Maybe not, but like he's gonna beat good guys that we think he maybe can't beat, and he's gonna make it tough for the guys that that he does fight. Like, he gave Luke Rockhold all he could handle in round 1, whether he lost or not. Like, he's still a good. And that's the type of round that I thought Thiago Santos was not going to get out of. And he didn't fucking get out of it. So I'm a huge David Branch fan. I have been since WSOF. So I'm excited to see him get a nice signature win like this, man.
Yeah. No, I thought Branch would win this fight, but just the way he did, I mean, I personally thought it would be Branch winning by
Decision?
Yeah, by decision or maybe submission. So I did not see him catching. Or I did not see him catching that. What did he hit him with the right hook on the when Santos was trying to circle out? I didn't see that happening. So yeah, but it was amazing. It wasn't even like they said on the broadcast. It didn't even look like that hard of a punch. It was just
hit him in the right
button.
Spot, man.
Yeah. So hats off to him. Man.
Just the right spot.
Hats off to him.
Yeah, I just like Thiago Santos because he's got a big tattoo of Meow Mew right there on his chest. He looks like a Norse god, right? So I figure it would make all the sense in the world.
Speaking of Norse god, I've been playing God of War recently.
Take my shirt off.
I don't even know what that means.
I've been playing God of War recently since it came out on Friday, and that's as soon as we get off this broadcast, I'm jumping back on my PlayStation. So
only reason he took vacation. Mm-hmm.
The week just kind of worked out that way.
Sure it did, buddy. Sure it did.
Oh man, yeah.
The truth unveils itself.
So what do you think's next for Branch then? Obviously, he's going to stay in the top 10. I think he's ranked like 9 right now. I think something like that. What do you do for him? What do you book him, or who do you book him up against?
I don't even know who the fuck's in the top 10. So,
top 10 middleweight. You've got Robert Whitaker, Yoel Romero, Jacare Souza, Luke Rockhold, Chris Weidman, Kelvin Gastelum, Bisping, Derek Brunson, number 8 Branch, 9 Belfort, 10 Brad Tavares.
I'd like
off the top of my head, guys. Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Shouts to Riverside Joe for all the top of this and freestyling.
College.
I like the Branch versus Tavares, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like Branch Tavares, I like Branch Brunson, and I like Branch Bisping, but we know Bisping's not going to be around for too much longer. But those 3 fights, those are all like
Branch Weidman,
competitive.
I like Branch Weidman.
Competitive fights, right? Like those are all competitive fights. So I'd like to see those.
Yeah, I think him versus Weidman. Neither of them are booked up right now for a fight. You've got Gastelum versus Souza is the next fight in middleweight that I can think of that's being pushed. So let's do David Branch versus Chris Weidman.
In New York City.
I'm happy with that.
Sean Shelby, you're welcome once again. Commission checks can be sent to Riverside, care of Riverside Joe.
Yeah, I'm getting really sick of booking fights on the show only to turn around like 4 weeks later and see that the fight's been booked.
Mm-hmm.
They're paying attention. That means they're paying attention.
Everybody is. All 5 of them.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only ones watching, all 5 of those people.
As long as one of them's Sean Shelby, that's important.
Right. Sean Shelby. Mick Maynard doesn't watch anymore. I think I may have offended him.
He's probably watching because all the times we had had Shorty on and all that, and we're talking shit about them, and they're like, let's see what these guys are saying now.
I want to throw a funny fact out there. So I just got started a new job this month, right? And my boss, she's done a lot of shit, and she's really fucking cool. But we really connect because she worked for the UFC as like VP of like, I don't know what the fuck, from like 2010 to 2014. So she was just like telling me like stories with like her and fucking like Condit, like her and like fighters, and her and Dana, and like being in like Australia when they would go, like, and then when the whole Connor thing happened, she was like, yeah, fucking Sean Shelby called me, and he was with fucking who was the guy, Michael Chiesa, and she's like, I talked to Michael, like, he was so fucking pissed, like, I was just like, oh my, I'm like, you think Mick or Sean wants to come on the show? And she just laughs. And she just like laughs, and she never gave me a yes or no. So I don't know what that means, but
I'm pretty sure no. I would think it was a hard no. The laugh.
It didn't say no.
It felt like a soft no. Yeah, I felt like a soft no, like a soft maybe, like a
so
hard.
You're saying
maybe.
There's a chance. Yeah. You're saying there's a chance.
I like your insistence on, but she didn't say no, Joe. Yeah, it's like.
Listen, I'm positive. I'm a pretty positive guy.
How many times have you used that, Joe? But she didn't say no. So
I put the pill in her drink anyways.
Yeah. She didn't say not to. She was asleep. She didn't tell me stop.
Next fight, please.
Awful.
Well, speaking of, I'm not even going to go there. Anyways, Aljamain Sterling comes back from the knockout, lost to Marlon Moraes.
Looked impressive.
Looked absolutely phenomenal, impressive, taking the O away from Brett Johns. Is he still considered overrated, or is he just rated now?
He's just rated.
I feel like rated. Like, okay, you beat a guy that's up and coming. Good for you.
Yeah.
Who else can you beat?
Not Marlon Moraes.
Right.
Not Marlon Moraes.
Not Brian Caraway.
Not Caraway. Even though I wouldn't mind seeing that one run back again. Not Jimmy Rivera. Not a Sun Sal. He called out the Dominator, Dominic Cruz. What do you think about that call?
I'd be okay with it.
That I'd like to see.
Okay with seeing him lose to Dominic Cruz.
Yeah. Or if he beats Dominic Cruz. Or if he beats Cruz, because Cruz is like completely just done and just, he just doesn't have it anymore, then it's a nice step for Aljamain Sterling. I'm not going to pick Sterling because I think Cruz does work him, but I mean,
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, there's just many ways you can go with that fight. So,
yeah, I like the call out. I like how he did it. He wasn't a jerk about it. He says, as things move on, the what word did he use? I don't know, your idols become your foes or something like that. I'm like, all right, that's a good way to go. I appreciate you. I looked up to you. Now it's time for us to bang.
Speaking of call-outs, can I just call the next fight real quick? Jim Miller, Dan Hooker.
Come on, man.
Dan Hooker calling out.
You took my segue. It's like we were connected here, man. I was gonna say speaking of call-outs, yeah, but hey, you know what? It's all right. That's
what happens when you get two podcast hosts in a room.
You're the professional there. You've been doing it a lot longer than me, so.
Dude, I fucking love that, and I thought Dan Hooker would super beat Jim Miller, and he looked amazing, and Jim Miller, man, got that sickle cell or Lyme disease or whatever the fuck flea disease he got. I don't know how well it's gonna affect him in these later years, man. But Dan Hooker, what an amazing win. And what an amazing call out, and what an amazing fight! If we actually get to see him at Paul Felder, I think that'd be a great fight.
That'd be a great fight at lightweight.
I tend to think Paul Felder wasn't too keen on the fight though, because I just think he wanted somebody a little higher ranked. He even said, "Well, if Sean or what do you say, Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard?" He's like, "Well, yeah, Mick Maynard wants to. If that's the fight he sends to me, then yeah, we'll do it."
I'll sign it.
Yeah, so I don't think he wants it not because he's afraid. Obviously, it's Paul Felder's not afraid. I'm not going to call him afraid. I just think he wants somebody higher ranked for his next fight. But I would love to see Hooker and Felder. I mean, Dan Hooker's a beast at lightweight right now.
Yeah, I don't think he's afraid of it, but it's a dangerous fight. You have this.
It's a lose-lose.
It's kind of you beat a guy who's not as ranked as that high, and then you lose to a guy who's not ranked as high, who's super dangerous. So it's what the fuck? But if there's enough peer pressure from fans, if they keep calling out for it, you kind of backed into a corner then, because you said it on TV, you'd be okay with taking the fight. So it's just and it's all lose. And it's
MMA The Max is calling for the fight, so he has to take it now.
That means
once
he's going
again,
to get signed in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
He has to. I mean, not just any podcast gets a shirt worn around at Disneyland, all right?
No, that's a very special thing worn by a very special boy.
Speaking of Disneyland, for the next 30 minutes of the show, I'm going to tell you guys about my trip. So, from the very start of Saturday morning.
Checking out.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right, Robert, I got to
go. No, overall, man, it was an awesome card. The main card was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. It's starting to become some of the better shows here. They're free.
And then that kid, Justin Willis kid looked super good against Chase Sherman, man.
I mean, he should. Did. I think a lot of people slept on somebody like him just because of his height and everything in the heavyweight division, but he's Daniel Cormier's main training partner for wrestling and everything. So, yeah, dude.
And I think the thing that where everybody I kind of expected him to get a knockout maybe a second round.
I did too.
But the thing is though, we all forget kind of Chase Sherman's a bit durable, man. Even if you remember that fight where he fought Justin Ledet was piecing him up 1 and 2. It was just literally a jab fest and a 1-2 fest.
Yeah.
And Chase Sherman just kind of ate it all and kind of was very durable about it. So shouts to Chase Sherman's chin, but right that you got to give him some court.
One day it's gonna crack.
He's a bloated Gaethje.
Well, we're not gonna go there, but like he got knocked down. Like that was in the first round. Like that was, oh my god, moment, right? But like, he's very, very durable, and he was the right opponent that you need to see Justin Willis go all 3 rounds with. Very tough, and whatever they do with Justin Willis next, I'm excited to watch this kid, man. But
I wouldn't mind Willis and Ledet. Since you brought him up,
Ledet's going. I wouldn't mind it, but Ledet's going down 205.
Is he going down 205?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well then, never mind.
But I'd love to see that fight. I'd love to see that fight, man. But on that note, Robert, that's I gotta be off and doing some things.
You got to do your thing.
I got a couple things to do, man. But I'm excited to have gone over the main card with you, and I'm excited to have been on here, and I'm excited to be back, man. I hope everybody tunes in for the next few episodes of Loaded Joe's MMA, and I'll be coming back, man, and be doing more content, and hopefully be back on here again more sooner than later.
Oh yeah, for sure. But before you go, why don't you plug your stuff real quick?
I will, man. But I'm excited to come back so that way Joe can tell me all about the tropical fruits and shit. Yeah, everybody go check us out, man. Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and I want to shout out particularly 2 segments of people. One is the sponsors that have been sticking with me since I haven't been making like personal content. Of course, that's Ruffiano International, Ruffiano International, and they do great metal work and custom leather work. And maybe look out for some custom leather Loaded Joe's coasters. I don't know. I like leather coasters, and I like them to say Loaded Joe's. So let's take a look out for that in the future, man. Of course, Zenso, UFC Gym, South Austin. That's where I've been going to, and those guys have been holding me down since I've been going there, and kind of making myself better. And just shout outs to everybody else, man. All the players like yourself, Kyle Steele, Jeff from Average Joe's, Aaron Weinbaum, just so many other people from the MMA podcast scene that reached out to me while I was away, and kind of just getting right, man, getting mentally better, and coming back, man. And now that I'm here, I'm excited to be here, and I'm sure the ladies are excited that I'm back in their life. And
I don't know,
my
Joe, are you?
Fuck you. I happen to be a man.
Well, yeah, it's all fool, Joe. But I just thought we were a hairy woman from like Germany or something. But I want to thank you guys for having me on, man. And let's fucking do this again. I'll grab another beer, and we'll all sync up with the beers. That way we can all kind of get loaded together, man. But thank you so much for having me on.
All right, man.
Thanks
Take care. Have a good night. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all too. Peace.
All right.
You and I.
Yeah. Now we're gonna just edit everything up. But yeah, no, it was a great card, man. You want to talk about some of the prelims?
Yeah.
Especially one in particular with the most ridiculous result I've ever seen. I'm not a fan of it.
Rick Simon's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, the Ricky Simone and Merab Dvalishvili fight, which was just the weirdest finish. I mean, Merab was on his way to his first UFC victory, and was... I mean, let's be fair. He got knocked out when he went for the slam, the takedown. He hit his head. You saw his legs go limp.
Yeah.
But it wasn't stopped, and he still came through, and he was kicking the entire time leading up to the bell, and then once the bell ended, or the bell sounded, he wasn't even out. He tried to get up.
He sat up too quickly and got lightheaded.
But he wasn't out. He wasn't choked out. He may have knocked himself out on the takedown, but he wasn't choked out. So how they called it a technical, TKO, but it's been switched now to a technical submission at 5 minutes of the third round. I just don't get it. He was robbed of a decision in my mind.
I agree with you, and the ruling on it, the way I understand it to be, is that let's say that happened in between the second and third round, or first and second round. So the guy's fighting it off, he's good, and then he goes to get up and collapses and passes out, the fight's over. So because it had basically been that way, but it was the third round, it still counts that way as him unable to walk to his corner, Even though you see guys at the end of the third round or whatever, just lay
this
there.
isn't in between rounds. That's what I don't get.
I agree. I agree with you, but that's the way that I understood what Mark Goddard was explaining in it. That's my understanding of it all. I don't think that's right. I don't know if that's right within the rules. If it is, the rules are wrong.
I think that's wrong to take away a victory like that for somebody, just because he wasn't out. If he was, I don't know.
He sat up and went back down.
They tried to quote the Matt Hughes Carlos Newton fight as precedence for this, but that was different. The round didn't end. The fight didn't end. It ended because one of them was knocked out. It was a stoppage. it's way different.
And the Matt Hughes Carlos Newton one, Matt Hughes had him up on his neck and shoulders because Newton had Hughes in the triangle, and he went and he slammed him down, and that's when Newton went out, and that's when I think it was Big John went in to stop the fight. Not realizing that Matt Hughes didn't really slam Newton down.
He choked out.
Passed out. But because he stopped it because of Newton. It's completely different, and they did a piss-poor job of trying to compare the two in my mind. I was very unhappy with a bit of the commentary on that aspect in particular.
It was a very piss-poor job.
Yep.
So, man.
What you got?
I don't know. What do we have? What's going on in the MMA news? They signed Holloway versus Ortega for the co-main event of DC and Stipe. That's the fight week fight. So that's looking pretty awesome. That's gonna be an awesome fight, man. Ortega and Holloway's gonna be sick.
I don't know. I got to go for my boy T City from SoCal, but Max Holloway is just something different, dude.
Yeah, he's on an absolute tear. I don't think Ortega wins this fight. I
don't think he does either. I don't think anyone's going to stop Holloway right now.
Yeah, I don't. I think Holloway's absolutely going to go on a tear in the featherweight division. And man, so speaking of Edgar, we were talking about earlier. We totally forgot to mention that Korean Zombie called him out.
Yeah,
and that's another fight that I'd totally be down for.
That'd be a fun fight.
That'd be an amazing fight.
That would not be a fun fight.
Yeah, that would be an amazing fight, man. I would be totally down. Korean Zombie, I'm excited to see him come back. I've been waiting forever for him to come back from his military service. He wins, knocking out Dennis Bermudez, and then training for his next fight. I forgot who it was. Gets injured. Absolutely disappointing, man. It's been a while since we've seen him. So
can't wait to see him back in there.
But okay, real quick, let's do something here because next week, for everybody that knows or doesn't know, I should say, we got a very special guest coming on. Recent Fight of the Night winner, the UFC, the one, the only, the Doberman, Drew Dober.
Oh,
boom, Drew Dober coming on the show. It'll be about Saturday.
Drew Dober.
Saturday afternoonish. For us, I don't know if I'm going to go live for the show yet because we haven't gone live on an interview yet, but we probably will. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll figure it out.
So, because we're going to do that, and we're going to be talking to him for about a good hour or so, let's just talk a little bit about the fights that are going to go down the week after that.
The week after that.
UFC 224.
We have the women's bantamweight strap.
Or I should say 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about that real quick. You know what? Screw that. Let's wait for that May 5th episode then, the week before it. I'm totally off on my dates.
Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington.
We'll wait.
Jacare, the Crocodile Souza versus Kelvin Gastelum. Mackenzie Dern making her third octagon appearance in as many months.
Second.
Whatever. Seems like she's fighting every other
But
weekend.
no, we do have a free week. We do have a free week before that event. So we'll just wait to preview the fight then. I don't know what I was talking about.
Those 3 fights right there, though, are enough to keep people interested. Yeah. Keep them baited on for a minute.
But Ponzinibbio got injured, so he's out of the UFC Chile main event against Kamaru Usman, which is an absolute shame.
No, dude, that was going to be such a good fight.
Yeah, I'm very upset about that. It was the classic striker versus grappler match, but I mean Ponzinibbio's use of distance and footwork might have been able to to hold him off. I don't think they're going to find anybody for Usman. I don't think they are in time. I think that event's going to go. I don't know, man.
Too bad Colby Covington is already booked.
I was going to say they booked the Dos Anjos Colby Covington interim welterweight title fight for the co-main event of UFC 225, Whitaker versus Romero 2. and I absolutely cannot wait because I am excited. I think Dos Anjos pieces him up.
Oh yeah, he's not ready to be up there with those guys, dude. He ruined Star Wars for me, man. I hate him. Forget that guy.
To be fair, Lucas ruined Star Wars a long time ago. Yeah. Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone versus Leon Edwards, booked as the main event of a UFC Fight Night, June 23rd. I'm excited.
I am too. I mean, I love Cowboy. I like that he's fighting. He likes to fight a lot. He's fighting a lot again. His last fight, to say the word fight and a lot in one sentence, was quick and easy. He didn't take any damage. Leon Edwards, Cerrone has been allowing himself to be made names off of him. You know what I'm trying to say there? People are making names off of Cerrone. I think Leon Edwards is going to make a name off Cerrone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's going to happen again. I'm high on Leon Edwards. I think he's going to break the top 10 here. So yep. I'm not sure if he gets to a title shot, which, I mean, if he keeps improving, I think it's possible. I just don't think it's happening. But yeah, I'm very high on Leon Edwards, and I think he's going to, make a name off of Donald Cerrone.
Mm-hmm. And I love you, Cerrone, but you have now officially been given the keys to the gate.
Ooh, I like how you said that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, well, let's just end this episode. Let's make it a short episode. Short, sweet, to the point. I mean, I know it's a work night. Yeah, I know it's a work night, so we'll just, it'll be up on YouTube tomorrow and available on all the audio sites for everybody.
Yes, sir.
Plug your social media, man.
Well, if you'd like to get a hold of me on Twitter, it is JoeHud45 at JoeHud45. On Instagram, you can reach me at MMA to the Max Joe, and the 2, as always, is the number 2.
The number 2? Yeah? You sure?
Number 2.
All right.
Yes.
If you want to find me on Twitter, it's at itsrockrobster. Find me on Instagram at MMA to the Max Rob. Find the show on Twitter at MMA to the Max Show. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MMA to the Max Podcast. Want to thank our guest, Blake Stephenson of the Loaded Joe's MMA Podcast, for showing up. Man, can't wait for him to start recording good material. Good show. If you haven't listened to the show yet, go ahead and definitely check it out. He's the man we thank for basically helping improving his podcast as much as possible. He's the one giving me all the ideas for video and overlays and shit. Want to thank our Beers of the Week companies.
Thank you, Stone.
Yeah, thank you, Anderson Valley. And I forgot I think it's something brewing for Blake.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That'd be easy to find. Just type in
just something brewing.
Beer,
just type in
brewery,
something brewing. Yeah.
Brewing. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. As always, if you want to find any of our episodes at our website, definitely go check out W2Mnet.com. That is our parent website. That's the website, one of the websites I own. And, well, I'm part ownership, I guess I should say. But definitely check it out. That's W2Mnet.com. You can find anything from MMA, football, baseball, basketball, all that good stuff. Video games, wrestling, movies, television, all the good stuff. Mike Burlon, thanks for joining. We're about to finish, so you're a little late there, pal.
We'll just keep going for you, buddy. We'll start it all over again.
Yeah,
new beer, new week.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 38 of MMA and Max. Anyways. Check us out. Hey, this Saturday, Drew Dober. Make sure to check it out.
Can't wait.
All right. And on that note, I am your host, Robert Taylor. This is for Joe Hudson, a.k.a. Riverside Joe. This has been MMA and the Max. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
The previous podcast has been an original W2Mnet.com production. For more great content like this, go to W2Mnet.com for the worlds of wrestling, video games, entertainment, and sports.